All right. Good morning, family. We back. This is the Holywood Ether Flames. The Holywood Ether Flame Games. Beverly Webb to a thing moo. Money relay. The Beverly Webb to a thing moo. Money relay. Victory lap. Marathon. Continues through everlasting. The Holywood Ether Flames game. Beverly Webb to a thing moo. Money. Relay race. Victory lap. Marathon through everlasting. I'm taking you to the starting blocks of the relay race, the victory lap marathon. The starting blocks. We're at the starting blocks of the US. The US has a start date. Philadelphia, USA, connected by a Trenton makes the world takes bridge in the marital art of war is in the beginning. The US has a start date that doesn't matter because the US represents Uncle Sam, an imposter. That's what the US is. Uncle Sam. And then there A after Uncle Sam stands for Azazel, the goat, the buzzard, the outcast, the fallen one, the judge, the judged, the convict, the loser. Uncle Sam Azazel. That's why y'all so in love with goats and bulls. When you're so ignorant that you cherish a goat. When the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords separated the victors, the winners, and the losers, life and death, from the sheep, his faithful servants, and the goats, his unfaithful rebels. And you got a nerve to play the same sports that the rebels play and cherish being called a goat and worship bulls. Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT. The Chicago Bulls. It's the same bull that the rebels of God went to after God delivered them from bondage. This why all of y'all facing the same death sentence that Israel faced in the desert. This is why all of y'all, because as for me and my house, we don't care nothing about y'all goats, y'all bulls, y'all fake worship systems, and y'all crying out for freedom. Y'all crying out, Black Lives Matter. Clowns, clowns. You repeating the children of Israel in Egyptian bondage all over again. You crying out, they oppressing us. We want to march for civil rights. And as soon as they put a goat or a bull or a Nike or an idol or a prostitute or some a dope deal or some crime or some underworld activity, you prove over and over again you the poorest dad and poorest prostitute in Babylon. So we come to Babylon. We coming to Babylon because everybody know the judgment of Babylon. These games are set in Babylon. And the last Eve standing and the last Adam standing is the one that's standing in the way, the truth, and the life, and that's going to the New Jerusalem. Trenton makes the world takes go from Babylon to the New Jerusalem. And we here to let anybody who want to jump on board punch a ticket. Everybody else, we here to crush you and let you know, just like them children of Israel that Joshua left behind in a victory lap. Joshua and his wife left all of them Israelites behind, including Moses' brother and sister. Moses and his wife and his two sons left all of them children of Israel behind, who wanted goats and bulls. You want a goat and a bull? Game over in Babylon. We coming to the starting blocks. Trenton makes where Uncle Sam told his lie and got y'all to worship Azazel and got y'all to worship Europa in the form of a Statue of Liberty. Y'all worship a European prostitute over your wives and daughters. All of y'all men. All of y'all men put Uncle Sam's European raped prostitute's constitution, a rape prostitute's law, a rape prostitute's banking system. So if your wife and your daughters is below a raped prostitute, if you ain't even on level, if you subhuman to a raped prostitute, what are they gonna do to your wives and daughters when y'all go into y'all churches and y'all temples and y'all shrines and y'all lodges? What they gonna do? They gonna rape and prostitute your wives and your daughters because you went and you took oaths that my wife and my daughter is less than your raped prostitute. Columbia, District of Columbia says this is the district where we rape the prostitute, and we brought our raped prostitute from France over here, and we set our French Revolution raped prostitute as the queen of these lands. And then we say, y'all 3/5 of a human being. I don't care what building you go into. You let us fake masons lay your foundations of your building. We tell y'all we got a Ponzi scheme. We got a network marketing Ponzi scheme where we say on the back of our dollar bill, yo, we the all-seeing eye of the Golden Bull at the New York Livestock Exchange, herd captivity. Y'all all signed up for herd captivity. Livestock, the New York Livestock Exchange, and they put the same bull that they got y'all worshiping, the Statue of Liberty, is the whore of the bull at the New York Livestock Exchange. And all of y'all that claim y'all civil rights through Uncle Sam, you a livestock that they trade on the New York Global Livestock Exchange, and they laugh at you every day when you try and talk tough. They laugh at you clowns, and then y'all go and y'all take initiations and oaths in these lodges that they put their network marketing Ponzi scheme called slave masons. And then in 1717, they say, when you come into our lodge, when you follow the rebel, Manly P. Hall, and you come into our lodge, yo, we're going to make you a freedman. A freedman. Meritorious manumission. When you come and you give us the Judas priest. So when you go into these lodges, y'all signing up to be Judas priest. Take your 30 pieces of silver. Women, y'all going to be the Delilah priestess, prostitutes. Where Statue of Liberty came from is Delilah, the woman that killed Samson, sold Samson out for 30 pieces of silver too. Judas and Delilah, priests and priestesses. This is who y'all are. In every way, shape, or form, in every institution, they got the same oath. You want to be a professor, you want to teach psychology, you want to be a lawyer, you want to pass a bar association, you want to be a doctor, take a Hippocratic oath, you want to be a freedman. Okay, we're going to initiate you as a rebel. We're going to let you climb our network marketing Ponzi scheme. It's the same pyramid. It's the same. It's the goat and the bull. 2 stars, 5-pointed star, 6-pointed star. Goat and the bull. He said, I separate the sheep and the goat. He turned to his sheep. He said, well done, my good and faithful servant. He turned to Peter. If you love me, feed my sheep. Nowhere does he acknowledge goats, because goats are scavengers. Goats are waste, waste of time, waste of breath of life, waste of talents. Waste of the Holy Spirit, waste of blessings, only deserve curses. You a bull? You love Jordan? Okay. So this race is over. This is called enmity. The distance in this victory lap between us and Babylon. We have never left Babylon. See, they want you to believe that they rule in Babylon. They don't rule in Babylon, and they dang sure don't rule in New Jerusalem. We have never left the bedrock of Babylon. We telling you it's a gold mine in Babylon, and we coming to get the queens. So if y'all want to come, if y'all want to come home and get cleaned up, I got a wedding party. I got a wedding party. And this victory lap is the marital art of war, wedding band, wedding battle of the bands. The last gold rush is the finish line, is the last and final wedding feast. And when you join this wedding party, I guarantee you're going to get across the finish line. I guarantee you're going to be at the last and final wedding feast. And only the lionesses that lay down with the lamb. We only recruiting the lionesses that lay down with the lamb. So this is a transformation and a transfiguration. This is an intervention and rehabilitation of our lionesses that have been treated like sheep, led to the slaughter. The man of God on earth was supposed to present himself as a living sacrifice in the sheep. None of our women was supposed to even be in striking distance of these goats and bulls and these buzzards. None of our women. That's why the Son of God laid his life down, and that's why they reject the redemption that comes with it. So any male who rejects this renowned supernatural model of manhood, of husband manhood, any man who ignorantly rejects signing up and enlisting to live the same identical walk on earth that the Son did, to present himself as a living sacrifice so his lioness can lay down and hunt, lay down her life and hunt for the lambs. She lays down with the lambs to protect the seed that belonged to the Father. The lioness wasn't never supposed to be sacrificed. No woman was ever supposed to be nothing ever on earth but the same queen that Eve has always been. And any man that subjugates a queen and puts a queen beneath her is either a serpent or has been fooled, is either a snake or has been deceived. And any man that has been deceived, we got an intervention and rehabilitation process for you. But every man that wants to stand firm, we put the same enmity between goats, bulls, snakes, and fallen angel, outcast, roaring lion, seeking whom they may devour. We put the same enmity that the Father put between the sheep and the goats. It's called the Brexodus. So when we run this victory lap and we go get our women and our children and our men that want to be transformed and transfigured back into, because ain't no more laying down a life. Now we get to move as lion kings and kings. The lioness has never, ever been in a sacrificial position. Never. The lion king, the lion queen of queens all throughout history, Bathsheba. Bathsheba don't belong to none of y'all with none of y'all books. If you got a book, Bathsheba don't belong to you. If your religion starts in a book, Bathsheba don't belong to you. If your religion, if your faith starts in a book, you're amateur. Because life starts and comes out of the mouth of God, not out of a book. A book is man-made. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. If you got a book, you've been man-made. Your faith is man-made. You're artificial. You got an artificial faith. Everybody who got a book, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The breath of life word that comes out of the mouth of God can't be written. If you speak not according to this word, there is no light in you. You can't have no enlightenment. You can't have no shine. All of y'all that got books and degrees, you got a man-made artificial faith, son. All of you. And your faith ain't in the beginning. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. All of y'all running around here talking about you God and worshiping pagan gods and the gods of Egypt and the gods of Babylon. Use an artificial amateur faith, man-made slave on the New York Livestock Exchange for some Europeans. Uncle Sam sacrificed to Azazel. And this ain't new. That's why this is the most ignorant generation, because no knowledge has increased. You still the poorest dad in Babylon. I could take you 4,000 years ago right to Babylon, and every page, every chapter in Daniel 1 through 12. Every chapter in Daniel 1 through 12. When I go meticulously in this race, the same ignorance that Nebuchadnezzar had, Israel, Solomon and Solomon's sons, that they teach y'all to worship when y'all go into these lodges. All they doing is they worshiping the pagan gods that Solomon did. Abraham, Isaac had two sons. Abraham had two sons, Isaac, Ishmael, and Isaac. The sons of Ishmael and Isaac produced the warring brothers, the warring ignorance of the Middle East. Middle East don't even exist. When the Son of God came and tore the temple veil from top to bottom, he tore his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael, Jacob. He tore his covenant from them because their fruit, meaning their offspring, was a keldama. A keldama. Feel the blood money. A keldama. Judas priest, feel the blood money. A keldama. Delilah priestess, feel the blood money. The seed of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, including Ishmael, that they taught y'all to ignorantly in urban environments when they resurrected Solomon's idolatry for y'all, because y'all ignorant and y'all don't study. And so, because they could tell y'all, yo, these was people of color. We already know that, clown. We knew that when the same Europeans came and said all people of color are cursed. So the same people that told you in the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade that all people are cursed because of Ham can then create another offshoot religion 200 years later in the 1900s Because your version of the sons of Ishmael was created in the 1900s. Because when they raised their head in the 300s, when Emperor Constantine enslaved the sons of Ishmael, the Romans enslaved the sons of Ishmael just like they enslaved the sons of Isaac, the sons of Jacob. They ain't never been free. They always been people of color. They always been worshiping the pagan sun gods of Solomon in Saudi Arabia. The pagan sons of Ishmael, who are the sons of Abraham, have always been people of color. And the same Europeans, Uncle Sam, came with a King James version of the Bible. And in 1717, they said, all of y'all is cursed because of Genesis chapter 10, because you are children of Ham. All people of color are cursed. And then y'all let the same Christians initiate y'all into these lodges and then steer y'all to a person of color's son named Ishmael. And now all of a sudden there's a person of color that's a descendant of Ham that's not cursed. Oh, y'all think we forgot that the same Germans, y'all think we forgot? Y'all think we stupid? That the same German, Aryan, white supremacist, fascist, Caesar, that said every person of color, based off of their version of a book that they wrote in England, and they wrote your degrees in your Freemasonic books, Morals and Dogma, that Manly P. Hall went with some British soldiers and got initiated in. So all of y'all, when y'all go into y'all lodges and y'all become initiated and y'all claim y'all put on that light, all you doing is you signing up for meritorious manumission to sell out your people. If you see the people, so listen, y'all, I'm telling y'all, they created the tunnel rat system. They created the police in 1717, and they created they Yo MTV rap niggas, tunnel rat informants. So all of y'all thinking y'all doing something, y'all standing up. Listen, family, the true men of God have been men of God since in the beginning. Ain't nobody come around in 300 AD. Ain't nobody come around in 600 AD. Ain't nobody, listen, the people who came around in 300 AD was Caesar's people who had taken power because God had torn his covenant from Abraham's children who keep worshiping the goat and the bull. And they still got you worshiping the goat and the bull and the 5-pointed star and the 6-pointed star and these initiated rituals, and y'all taking 30 pieces of silver, and y'all don't even know that y'all been enslaved. And they put free because they speak in pig Latin. The Greeks and the Romans speak Latin. It's pig Latin. It's a reversal. When they say love, they saying we hate you. When they saying life, they saying death. When they saying we got light, they telling you we full of darkness. When they saying Christ, they saying anti. And it's crazy because all of these tunnel rat, all of these Yo MTV rap, tunnel rat individuals who've been deceived, they try to call themselves NCs. And they using wordplay. They using cryptography, a hidden language. Listen, that's what the MC does. The MC spits a punchline that has multiple combinations. It has an uppercut. It has a right hook. It has a straight jab. The punchline is a combination that will knock your head off. Because when you thought I was saying one thing, you missed the uppercut. And then when you miss the uppercut and the uppercut connects, you miss the right cross. And they run around here and talk about they got light, talk about they men, talk about, listen, brothers, my loved ones, my brothers. I came to Babylon to let y'all know, if your faith ain't rooted in ITB, in the beginning was the word. You're not an MC. In the beginning was the word. No book, breath of life. And he breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and man started living. See, I know something about the breath of life. I'm not talking from guesswork. I came right back here to this spot. You see my shirt, Trenton Makes. My mother, Beverly Webb, is the sister to Diane Webb. And if y'all know anything about razor sharp, from the heart, dollar bill. My mother, Beverly Webb, was also the sister to Ethel Mason, Cynthia Mason, Peaches Mason, Renee Mason, Joanne Mason, Sandra Red Mason, Julie Webb, Sheila Webb, Libby Webb. We are the offspring. We are the fruit of the water of life. We are the sons from the tree of life, whose leaves are for the healing of the nation. Not the fruit of the poisonous tree from these books that they done lied to you about. And I came home, I was, listen, understand. Peaches Mason, Renee Mason, Joanne Mason are daughters of William Jr. Mason. So on one side of the fashion statement, of the Trenton Makes the World Takes fashion statement, on one side of that fashion statement, you got a William Mason. On the other side of that fashion statement, in my same family, that my mother is sister. My mother is the bridge between Peaches and Julie. Beverly Webb is the Trenton Makes bridge between William Mason Jr. and William Hackett, dollar bill. My mother, Beverly Webb, is the Trenton Makes bridge between Mason's Barber and Beauty Salon. Shout out to Amos Dean. Amos Dean raised me, just like Dollar Bill raised me. Amos Dean is the son of Renee, the son of Peaches, the son of Joanne, the son of Mary Mason, the son of William. There go that name again, William Mason Jr. And on the other side of my mama's bridge, you got another William, son of Diane Hackett. Shout out to my Uncle Butch Hackett, I'm coming. We got another William. Because the bridge, the Trenton Makes bridge, connects Trenton and Philadelphia. Trenton represents in the water. because Philadelphia is landlocked. Philadelphia don't have no access to water without Trenton. Philadelphia don't have no access to water. It's landlocked. So when the woman was at the well and when the woman was landlocked, the King of Kings always gives the water of life, the fountain of youth. He gives the woman a well and access to the living water. He brings the water to them. The Trenton makes bridge. We bring the water to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is landlocked. It's not on the coast. New Jerusalem's on the coast. We control the water. We in the water. We the lighthouse. We the gatekeepers. Just like the Trenton makes bridge. Beverly Webb is the bridge between the Masons and the Webbs. Beverly Webb is the bridge between the Legettes and the Wilsons. 4 corners, 5 points. 5 points is always the bridge that connects the 4 corners of your family. That's what the 5 points is. Y'all don't even know what 5 points is. All your cities got a 5 point. It's the connecting point. Beverly Webb is the 5 point between the 4 corners of our family. Right here in Trenton. Masons and the Webbs, Legettes and the Wilsons, Beverly Webb, cross back and forth across that bridge. And when my dad's family said, go get Ethel, go get my daughters, she trained her pack of lions, her pack of hunters in all 4 corners to lay down our lives. Search and rescue, intervention and rehabilitation. We call it the Baymack Watch. Be about your motherhood at all costs. To your life, anything. Be about your manhood at all costs. The Baymack Watch. Fullness of time is up. Game's over. Baymack Watch. Ain't no Bay Watch. Say no 90210 Hollywood fake. They don't own no coast. From coast to coast, La La Land, from coast to coast, we own it. From the east to the west, to the north to the south. Every continent, every patch of land. We got Philadelphia. There's 24. There's 24 Philadelphia 5 points. 24 of them. So if there's 24 Philadelphias, then there's 24 north, south, east, west gatekeepers surrounding the woman at the well, Philadelphia. It's across the earth, across the world, there's 24 Philadelphias. So there's 24 5 points, north, south, east, west. Lion, King of Kings, pearly gatekeepers. And any black male, human being that thinks you got a faith that could withstand the flames of those Lion, King of Kings as we guard these pearly gates. Let's play. But the game is already over. When you step on this field in ignorance, it is definitely for life and death. It's definitely for keeps. We're playing for gatekeeps. We're playing for gate keys to the kingdom. This ain't for funsies. This ain't amateur. This is procreator made. Playing for gatekeeps. And these pillars, every last one of these pillars, called the Parthenon, called the Colosseum. Nigga, all of this is this, we destroyed this in 70 AD. All of this is trash. Roman Colosseums. All of this is trash. This is the slaughterhouse. And they got to pay for every drop of blood, for every last one of these Colosseums where they sacrificed every drop of blood on all of these Colosseum steps that our people ignorantly cheered for. And we here to give an account. We're here to separate our people. And as we separate our people, and as y'all continue, because of y'all programmed to sacrifice as the Judas priest and as the Delilah priest, we're going to put you in the proper camp, or we're going to embrace you as a prodigal son, clean you up, give you your assignment, give you your opportunity to redeem yourself, to redeem your have life, to redeem your wasted talents. And this, we talk about money. Come exchange with me gold tried in the fire. All money got to be tested in the flames. That's why the Uncle Sam dollar is over with. Just like y'all faith had a start date and an ending date, y'all money system. They tried to challenge the throne of God with some fake imposter money, and he told you the blueprint of how in every age to respond to that challenge. I said, what you think of Caesar? He said, I don't think of Caesar, nigga. What you think of me, the son of God? He said, bring me the... First he told him, I will make you fishers of men. Because they was all caught in self. They teach y'all to worship self. So he has them go and fish the worthless outcast cast to the bottom of the sea, Caesar, and they pulled a coin out of a fish that represented Satan, who was cast to the bottom of the sea. And out of Satan's mouth, they fished a coin. And he said, who faces on it? Who faces on your money? Uncle Sam's, Azazel. Who faces on your dollar? Some Egyptian pyramid. Who faces on your dollar? Who faces on your dollar, yo? That's the best you could do? That's all y'all got? 1793, that's it? That's the best you could do? Once again, I told you, if you got a start date, if you got an established date that it's not ITB, you already lost. Any of y'all repping any start date that's not ITB, yo, you step in this ring if you want to. With 1793, with 1717, with 603, with 300 AD, you can step in this ring if you want to. Step in this ring if y'all want to. With 500 BC, step in this ring if y'all want to. With 3000 BC, come on. Any of y'all that got established, you already been deceived. You already lost and don't even know it. He said, bring me the coin. He said, who face on the coin? They showed him this. And so they got this tucked in the cut. And all of these governors and all of these mayors and all of these politicians, while they spreading all of this crime and violence across every block in every neighborhood in every community, all they doing is they taxing y'all. And then they come in here and they making backroom deals to send the blood money back to a queen in Egypt, queen in England, the whore, Mystery Babylon, riding the beast. And the beast is the Pope in the Vatican. So this is a taxation system. And they already told you how to respond. First, the King of Kings told you, can't nobody tax you unless you wear their face. He says, show me their face. Who face on the coin? Why did he go to the face? Because he said, I created my people in my image after my likeness. And I came back to get those who are still in my likeness, who've received the breath of life, mouth to mouth, transformation and transfiguration, CPR, who are living. You're talking to me about Caesar, who is a walking dead. I done already judged that clown that y'all worship. And they showed him Caesar's face on a coin. He said, give Caesar what's Caesar's. So all of y'all niggas created in Caesar's image, he said, go die with Caesar. Go die the death of Caesar. Caesar can have y'all. I don't want you. If you got his face and you don't have my face, if you worship in a place like this, if this is your brotherhood, if this is where your light come from, they can have you. If you still that ignorant, these are the same people, once again, that came to our shores and claimed that they came as Puritans. They give themselves these names of light. Pure Britain. The pure Britons is the Puritans. Plymouth Rock, they told you they came as sheep. They were wolves in sheep's clothing. The Puritans were these niggas with a King James Version Bible in 1611 that King James, under the guidance of Queen Elizabeth I, the daughter of Henry Tudor, this is the English crown. These are German, barbarian tribes of Europe who called themselves Aryan white supremacists, and they said, we taking the lands of the earth. And so, because they couldn't come and take the lands physically, they showed up as people who wanted to worship with the inhabitants so they could get in striking distance. How did they get close? With books called the Bible. Later, they created a Freemasonic lodge in 1717. And when they created that, they came to Virginia, the Virgin Mary's lands, the bloody Virgin Mary's lands, Virginia. Came to Virginia. And they said, meritorious manumission. On the shores of the USA, we're going to steal their lands because they think we've come in peace to worship. And now any of y'all people of color that want to become tunnel rats, any of y'all who want to be king in this land, but because you ain't strong enough to rule over your family members and you want to jump ship and cross sides and become a rat, we'll bring you this money from England. We got money too. They brought their little dirty blood money from England. And they created something in 1717 in Virginia called freedmen. What was they freeing them from? Enslaved men who was free, but jealous because they didn't have the power and might to rule over the people who lived in the land. Obviously, David had brothers, right? David had 8 brothers. Samuel comes to anoint David to be king of the land. And his father took the prophet to all of the other brothers and didn't even consider David. And then the Holy Spirit rejected every one of his brothers and said, none of these are the one. Prophet said, do you have another son? The father's like, how you know that? Nigga, because none of these niggas are blessed to be king. So what does it matter that individuals who aren't worthy of ruling in the family are not blessed to rule and sit on the throne? Same thing with Jacob and the sons of Israel. Joseph was the only one fit to lead the people and rule his 12 siblings. Did they want to kill Joseph because of it? Yes. Did they sell their brother into slavery because they wanted to rule and they weren't chosen and weren't blessed to rule? That is how the US, that is how Germans partnered with your family members to build a country, because family members who were jealous because they do not have the blessing to rule wanted to rule anyway. So they would rather partner with the lawless, soulless, rebel thieves who said one thing to get the family members to switch, and now they want you to believe that there's pride in the union between these Germans and these black niggas sellout coons. And now they want to give y'all religions and they want to give y'all churches and they want to say we're diverse. Nigga, they ain't diverse. You still got your brothers and sisters who do not have the blessing to rule because they don't have the character. They don't have the spiritual fortitude. But did God kick them out of the family? No. But they brought judgment down in their head by partnering with the lawless and shedding the blood of their brothers and sisters. And you ain't getting nothing else but rebuke. You shed too much blood. And every city, you got black people climbing the ladder of success in this same network marketing Ponzi scheme of Egypt, calling themselves successful, calling themselves black leaders, calling themselves men. You ain't a man. If you could partner with the lawless rebel, he said the thief comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And because you couldn't go head up, we've been in these streets. We've been in these streets all throughout the 70s, all throughout the 80s, all throughout the 30s, all throughout the 50s, all throughout the 20s, all throughout the 10s, all throughout the 18s, 1700s, 1600s, 1500s. We've been in the United States of America, in Chicago, in Detroit, in Ohio, in LA. Listen, my family covers every single hood, every single state. Listen. And these black family niggas who partner with the European, German, barbarian, Neanderthal, caveman, Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble, jealous, claiming Aryan white supremacy. The moment that a person of color unified with somebody who came to the stores claiming Aryan white supremacy, that was a death sentence on the rest of the family members. The moment that they sat down, our family members became the guides and the scouts. Told them the pathways and the cuts, how to get behind our flank and how to get to our weak spots. And then when they breeded with them bastard offspring, they called the children of the incestuous relationship. They called the children of the lawless union between our brothers who wanted to rule but couldn't have the blessing of God, just like David. Listen, this is a biblical example. It says God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And your rat brothers and sisters in the family who want to live lawless lives and want to live under the blessing of God, they ain't never changed. And then when they sleep with these Europeans, these people of color, who the Europeans came, and in Genesis chapter 10, when they landed on Plymouth Rock, it's the British who said, Genesis chapter 10 curses all people of color. So then when they sleep with those people, same people of color, for the purpose of taking the land, and then they have offspring, they call those offspring red. So that's called a loophole. We say all black people is cursed. The red people are indigenous. You a fool. Red people, when you mix German and inferior siblings in our family, when the Germans and the inferior people in our family who want to rule, just like Jacob's brothers sold him into slavery, Judah was one of those brothers. So when Judah sleeps with a British Puritan who wants to rule the world, where God said the iron will not mix with the clay, the iron will not leave its boundaries. A European will never rule. Daniel chapter 2. The iron will not mix with the clay. the Greeks and Romans will never rule the earth. So then when black people sleep with Greeks and Romans to expand their kingdom, the Greeks and Romans call the offspring natives, Indians. Then they do treaties and create instruments called trust funds, deeds, mortgages, constitutions, capitals, states. First, they do a treaty between a offspring. If God said the iron will not mix with the clay, if God said I'm separating the sheep from the goats, when the goats, when the German goats and when black goats unify together and have offspring, what is the red goat child? A bastard of the party. So when they write a treaty or a constitution with the bastards of the party, does it have any authority? You tell me. When they create a Supreme Court under a treaty with a bastard offspring of the party, when they build a lodge, when they build a temple, when they build a pyramid system of Egypt, now baptized in Aryan white supremacy, does it have authority? You say it does, so it has authority over you. You go into these lodges. You acknowledge these Aryan white supremacist Germans who just told you in Genesis chapter 10 in the 1600s that all people of color are cursed. Now you could come into their lodge and now they could show you your history before they said you was cursed. And now all of a sudden you're a proud black and you a slave clown. Everybody from the city of Trenton, everybody that you see them on TV, your mayors, your governors, your senators, your police chiefs, they come on here and they carve up the city. Just like the Germans did in 1865, they carved up Africa. They said, okay, we're gonna get this county. Y'all gonna tax this county. Yeah, you can kill 5 of them niggas this year in that county. Mercer County, yeah, okay. Yo, get y'all money. You already know you got a couple rats who on the payroll over there. So y'all get y'all black underhand dope money. Understand, I got to get a cut for my campaign contribution. I'm running for mayor. You got to put me back in the White House so all this don't come crumbling down. So you take your cut, We're going to leave all of the pain, all of the blood in the streets. And then these niggas come back. These niggas come right out of here. They come into your church. They sit down. They worship with you. They come into my cousin's barber shop. They come into my uncle's barber shop. They come into our schools. They talk about they running mentoring programs, a mentoring program that don't never ever teach wealth. A good man leaveth wealth to his children's children. Nigga, if you still going into it after 1717 and you ain't passed wealth to our children, nigga, you a Judas priest. After 1717, y'all join. Listen, it's all for self. And everything else is for show. Self and show. That's Hollywood. They call it Tinseltown. Glitter. Self and show. They carve up the blood money for self. And then they go out and they put on a show. Show and tell your lies. Show and tell you that I'm here to protect and serve. So this is called the Brexit. They got to go. The year of Jubilee coming. Listen, y'all. Listen. The same word that they done abused y'all with, we abusing these clowns with. Because they don't know nothing about no word. Ain't no power in no book. And the Most High watch these clowns study mistakes from the past that Israel made. And then they wrote books to try and rule over God's people with the laws and the history, the same way that Caesar and the Romans ruled over Israel. And this is what Aryan white supremacy is. And this is what black niggas who sell out to Aryan white supremacists, they are Caesar and the Hebrews. All you have present day is the Europeans playing the Hollywood role of Caesar, and you got black niggas in various nation, kins, and tongues and people all over the world who have joined their Egyptian network marking pyramid scheme. So this is a copycat. This is an imposter of what the Egyptians did. But when we are the people that crushed the Egyptians in Babylon and Babylonians, and when we run the same playbook with the same spirit, we're going to have the same outcome in crushing these individuals. And everybody in any way, shape, form, or fashion who is still caught in this masquerade, who doesn't come home like the prodigal son and get up out of the filth of the pig pen and say, you know what, you're right, bro. Aryan white supremacy, they're fake lodges, they're fake governments, they're fake kingdoms, they're fake wealth. Overnight, it says in one day, Revelation, if y'all need the word that they wrote that rebukes them, Revelation 18 says in one day, it all burns to the ground. One day. Revelation 18, you need a chapter that foretells what's going to happen to anybody still in this masquerade. Revelation 18. You don't need to read no other book in the Bible. And the Bible is a judgment against those who use it as a weapon against God's children. The Bible is final judgment against the wicked who tried to use God's word against his children. That's all it is. He gave Cain a system of worship, and then Cain, out of jealousy, as a priest in a system of worship, killed his brother because his brother was blessed and he was cursed because he wouldn't be obedient. And they've done the same thing. And y'all join them. And y'all call them men. And y'all call them successful. No taxation without representation. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. These niggas gangbanging, yo. These niggas is gangbanging. For all y'all want to be tough street organizations, these niggas is gangbanging. But they the bastards of the party. I got one for you. We the illest warriors ever. Ever. They gangbanging. I'm gonna prove it to you. All right. For all of y'all street organizations, all of y'all want to know what hip hop is. Y'all want to know the difference between y'all rap niggas, y'all tunnel rap niggas, y'all yo MTV rap niggas. Yesterday, today, and forever. Rap, tunnel rap niggas. This is the difference. I am the door. They gangbanging, nigga. This is a gangbang symbol. Just like they write graffiti. Listen, yo, I'm peeing. Right now, I'm peeing on the territory of the roaring lion seeking whom he may devour, Satan himself. I'm peeing on his territory and on all your sons. I'm peeing on this nigga. Gangbang against my father, nigga. Roaring lion, see, listen, they gangbanging, nigga. The West is a symbol of the darkness. The sun sets in the West. The West, the sun sets in the West. Satan is gangbanging against the Son of God. Sun God worship is the sun rises in the east and the sun shines. And the sun sets in the West. So they worship the darkness of the West, and they put a door in the West, and they worship the door in the West where the darkness is. Ain't no darkness in the west. Because the Son of God is the king of the wedding feast. He is the bridegroom. So in the east, the greatest of the kings of the east, you got two parts to the bridegroom coming. You got the wedding day and you got the honeymoon. Huh. Ain't no darkness, you clowns. Ain't no darkness, you clowns. He said, I am the door. Anybody that comes into the fold, that bypasses the door, John chapter 10, this is the ultimate gang banging. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels and cast them out. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. Revelation 12 and John chapter 10. Crushed the rebellion. And any of y'all fools walking into these initiation rituals and thinking that you getting some knowledge, you a clown, bro. But you could come home. I love you, yo. I'm doing this because I love you. But I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. You a clown, bro. You a clown to look up to niggas who already told you you subhuman and been sacrificing and think that now because they done opened up a way for you to be initiated, for you to be called free. They are, by you getting your freedom from them, you're saying that they have authority. First they said you're a slave, and then they came back and told you, I got a process to free you. This is the same thing that the King of Kings said. I've come to set the captives free. It is for freedom's sake that I have set you free. Now do not be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. So when you go back into captivity by anybody, you erase the freedom. You erase the heir, the Son of God. And then you acknowledge and give authority to the person that said they gave you liberty. That's why they use the term liberty. The Statue of Liberty, when you go on leave, in the Navy, in the Army, they call it liberty because they determine the terms of your freedom, so they own you. When they get a slaves holidays on the plantation, and then the slave parties celebrate, you have settled for the servitude, and the master has determined what measure of liberty they give you. You a slave, yo. And all they did is look in the book and they heard the Son of God say, yo, it is for freedom's sake that I have set you free. So now they come and they say, we got to come and we got to take from them and then we got to give them their freedom. So John chapter 10, he said, they're going to come and run this impostor on you. Satan will impersonate an angel of light. Satan will impersonate an angel of light. And he called the impersonation all throughout the word strange fire. All they talk about is fire. And he said, so now, when you walk your walk, I'm going to test your image. Have you been recreated in the image of your bastard offspring fallen father? Or have you maintained and fought and guarded the image that I gave you in the beginning? And he said, I'm going to test it with the flames. And we call it Holywood. Holywood is where the fire burns. And if the wood matches the fire, the wood don't burn. If the flesh matches the fire, if the flesh matches the Father, it don't burn. If the flesh matches the bastard rebel, you're out of here. So John chapter 10, he said, I am the door. Anybody who comes into my folds of faith and bypasses the door is a thief and a liar. If you come into Christianity and you disrespect the Son of God and you say he ain't heir to the throne, he said you a thief and a liar. And then you let somebody else tell you God and you receive worship, he said you're dead. I'm going to test you in the flames. Anybody that, I am the door. John chapter 10. Go read it, y'all. This is their Bible that they gave you. That rebukes every single system that they done set up. Because it's all set up to bypass the door. Every philosophy, evolutionary theory. So the Puritans from Great Britain believe in evolution. But they are evangelical Christians in the Church of England with the King James Bible who believe in Darwin's theory of evolution. John chapter 10 says they are accursed and they are satanic. Every evangelical Christian, whoever had slaves, participated in the slaves, worshiped. Slavery has never been endorsed in the word of God. He said, well done, my good and faithful servants. A servant, the prodigal son said, in my father's house, servants are royal servants. It is a position of honor in the heavenly kingdom and on the earthly kingdom to serve the Father that has given you crowns, thrones. Every servant in the Father's kingdom is also a ruler of lands, titles, treasures, has his own family, kingdom. Well done, my good and faithful servant. The word of God only talked about servants. Of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, when Lucifer was first created, he was the servant of the wedding band. In musical setting, you call it a conductor. So the musical conductor stands up. It's the greatest position in the band, in the orchestra. It is a position of status, wealth, greatness. But he is a servant to the king because he has to be the master conductor to bring the highest praise out of the orchestra to give to the King of Kings. But the conductor is a servant. Everybody in the word of God, every created being was created with a special role to serve the Father. He didn't create no slaves. And when the son understood that he became a slave, and his father has royal servants, he said, I could go back to my daddy, and even if my daddy makes me a conductor of his wedding band, even if my daddy makes me a conductor of his heavenly angels that fight against the dragon and his angels, no matter what service that my daddy gives me, it is a royal priesthood, a holy nation service of gratitude, and I will gladly go back and rule. He said, I'm a fool for sitting out here and becoming a slave when my father has royal heir servants, conductors, and y'all let these clowns rewrite versions of books and remove the word servant and put slave. And then they preach doctrine to make you believe that God always endorsed slavery. Nigga, it is satanic. It is satanic to force somebody that God created to do your bidding when God has a purpose for each being that he created. It is the most satanic thing in the world to force somebody that was created for a specific purpose to work for another reason to generate wealth for you. Nigga, you a thief. When you divert my purpose as a created individual in the image of God to generate wealth from you, you have robbed God and you are dead. And all of y'all that believe that slavery is from everlasting, you was the biggest fool, and you believe in lies of Aryan white supremacists, and that's why you a slave. Because even when you read the verses of the books that they gave you, well done, my good and faithful servant, you have been faithful over a few things. Now come be ruler over many. The first step to rulership and dominion is servitude. You can't be a king unless you serve the King of Kings. That is the training. Train up a child in the way he should go. That when he is old, when it's time for him to rule, he will rule faithfully because he was trained as a faithful servant, so he knows how to rule as a faithful king. They took your training program, told you it was accursed slavery, and then got you to accept the fact, yo, we always been slaves, so I just got to accept this role. You a fool. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. Now come be ruled. God never endorsed slavery. And when they said Genesis 10 said that a specific son was cursed, and it don't say that. That's a death sentence for everybody. Everybody who taught that, enforced that, practiced that, killed because of that, raped because of that. God did in Genesis 10, he ain't even talking about Ham. He's talking about Canaan. The person that God allowed Noah, God didn't even curse nobody in Genesis 10. Noah cursed him. And Noah spoke against Canaan and said, Canaan, you will be a servant to your brother. Serve him faithfully. The same language that God used. Noah said, you need some home training, Canaan, and I'm going to give it to you. You will serve your brothers. Canaan will be a servant to Japheth, and Canaan will be a servant to Shem. Anybody who has ever done anything in this system promoting slavery, you have the same blood on your hand that Pontius Pilate tried to wash off, and all of them said, let his blood be on us and our children. You are the children of the blood of Judas, and you can only receive the bath of Sheba bath, the dipping in the Jordan 7 times, the name in the leper bath. You can't get it in these lodges. You can't get it in your church. Your Christian church was founded on the blood of Genesis chapter 10. Every evangelical Christian denomination was founded on the blood, lie, curse in Genesis 10. And you got to be washed clean. This is why he gave you John chapter 10. I have sheep of many fold who are in the pig's pen. They know me, I know them. They will hear my voice and come out of the pig's pen like my prodigal son and come home. And when they get to the gate, before they could come in the gate, I will take them to the Jordan River, Jordan Dam, and wash their leprosy, transform and transfigure them. Before they come into the pearly gates, we got to go to the Jordan River. It's not your church baptism. It's not your sprinkling in your Catholic church. They don't do nothing in these other religions. You just out of there, yo. But he said every last one of them folds are the folds of my prodigal sons and daughters. I have many prodigal sons and daughters folds of faith. I have sheep who I will say you are faithful servants. You got to come out of the fold, get clean, and then you got to go to work as a good Samaritan. After he cleans you up and has the wedding feast, then he sends you out to go to work so that you can redeem yourself doing the works of the Father in the Holy Spirit that he deposits in you. He said, I stand at the door and knock. He who comes in, I will eat with him and her, and she will eat with me. And when you eat at that table, he deposits the Holy Ghost in you. He feeds you the Holy Ghost and says, now go do the work of the Father in the Holy Spirit that fuels you. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word. He said every fold of faith is the pig's pen. Every fold of faith after Calvary. I have sheep of many fold. Every fold of faith, yo. I am the door. Stop letting these cats gangbang. And if you live in these cities and you came up in an urban environment and you don't understand that the gangbanging that I'm putting down, I'm showing you that they've been rebelling against heaven, using the Bible as the weapon to program you to follow them in their rebellion against the King of Kings. And all you're supposed to do is turn the tables on them using the same weapon. That's why he said it's a double-edged sword. When they come and use the weapon, he said you're supposed to turn the weapon on them, turn the tables on them, use the same book, the same lies, the same deception. Why? They killing your kids with lies from the Bible. So take the same Bible and expose their lies, and your kids' eyes is going to be open. They slaughtering your wives with lies from a book that they wrote. So he said, take the same book expose how they lied, and they can't keep the very things that they say they stand on. And when you, he said, have nothing to do with the worthless deeds of darkness, but expose them. When you expose them, the people's eyes will be open, and they're going to come home and they're going to run to the truth, the way, the truth, and the light. Out of the folds of faith that you in. John chapter 10 is a rebuke of houses of worship, all of them, in every shape and form. And John chapter 10 is claiming of the individual, not the group. Claiming of the individual as a sanctuary, not a group. It's not a package deal. I'm in my home, Trenton, New Jersey. Anybody on the East Coast, the West Coast, in the United States of America, in the world, you can accept this challenge, and you could come and try and be king of this mountain. This is the Daniel in Babylon wise man challenge. Any of y'all that think y'all wise guys, anybody on earth, this is the Joseph in Egypt, Isaiah chapter 19, wise men versus wise guy challenge. In the East and the West, any fold of faith, any background, any male, any female, any doctor, any lawyer, any priest, any form. Listen, this is the same challenge. I represent Joseph, and y'all can represent Egypt and the wise men of Egypt. I represent the last Daniel, and y'all can represent Babylon. I represent the last Adam, son of God, and y'all can represent Caesar. I represent the last Assyrian king of Nineveh, Cyrus the Mede, and y'all can represent the Greek philosophers. I represent the first Adam, and y'all can represent these raggedy Hebrews. I represent Emmanuel, and y'all can represent these lost Christians. This is hip hop. I call y'all tunnel rats. I call you all out. This is hip hop. Wedding battle of the bands. We are the Slumdog Pavillionaire, marriage makers in the marital art of war. This is the battle, final battle of the wedding bands. For the narrow way, the truth, and the life. And I am my mama's ultimate conductor in the battle of the wedding bands. I put the wedding party that she was the architect of. The desires of her heart was to see babies come out of the wedding party of the groom that I became and the bride that I went and got. She put her stamp of approval on this wedding band. So anybody got anything to say about the fruit that come out of this wedding party, that the seed and the offspring that come out of this womb, anybody, you got to come play king of the mountain. All of y'all. And I do it for all of mine. I do it publicly to show that everybody that came before me, after me, beside me, with me, around me, every last man, woman, boy, girl could stand on this same covenant, because they all are part of the same wedding band. If you seen my wedding party, everybody who was in my wedding party, I got individuals who represent every single group that my mom affiliated and associated herself with. As a mother who trained up children. Every institution that my mother inserted herself into as a educator, a trainer. You have individuals from every one of those groups that stood at the altar with me and my wife and joined our wedding party, from our brothers and sisters and our cousins and our aunt to, listen, we got a family school that my family went to. My mom became an educator. She gave her life to training up the children in the way that they should go in the marital arts of war. To take back the conductor status that Lucifer, Satan, fumbled. And then she commanded us to go rescue all of her seed, all of her, listen, and teach them the song that no man can sing. That's the ultimate crown. When that shows you won the battle of the wedding bands. When you could sing the song that no man can sing, you won. It's called signal flow. And it's money attached to it, priceless. Ain't no European face on these bills. So in the next joint, I'm gonna walk around here and I'm gonna show you the Hollywood, where Hollywood put Caesar's face on your money. And I'm gonna show you our money. And I'm gonna show you the man who tried to bring Hollywood to the East Coast, Thomas Edison. He tried to bring the music industry to the East Coast, and we crushed this nigga right here in Trenton. You got Hollywood on the West Coast because they couldn't put it in the East Coast. They wasn't allowed to set up nothing in the East Coast that they wanted to. They had to come back in the 90s. They had to come back in the 60s and the 70s. After they went to Hollywood in the 20s and the 30s, and they put in Hollywood record labels and movie studios that they couldn't put in it. Listen, they call themselves kings of New York. Why you had to go to the West to create the movie studios and the record labels and all that? They come back to Motown in the Midwest and then come back to New York. After we already won the war. We don't got to guard the, listen, we crush the fathers. We not playing around with their great grandsons, nigga. You don't have no authority. We crushed the fathers. We totally disrespected the kings. Now you mean to tell me y'all coming back as citizens with presidents? We killed the kings of Europe. And then the kings of Europe said, okay, we've been dethroned. We can't even claim that we kings over there. So we presidents and heads of state. We don't even acknowledge your heads of state. When you came and you said, king of the mountain, we want to challenge you for it. We said, okay, off with your head, king. Ain't no kings. We don't acknowledge no president. You don't have a head when we chopped off the head of the king. How you got a head of state and your king, the king of France, we chopped his head off. The king of England, the Vatican, spiritual king. In Germany, in Spain, in Portugal, in the Dutch Netherlands, in Switzerland, in Austria. Everywhere, in Morocco, in Italy. So now you coming back as a head of state, and you expect us to come down and play down in the amateur leagues. And if our kids don't know the difference between amateur, a prime, what does that mean? Nothing. A president. What is a president? Nigga, you children of the king. That don't even have nothing to do with us. That don't have nothing to do with us. You faking like you got authority as a head of state. If my children and my grandchildren don't understand that their grandparents and great-great-grandparents and great-great-great-great-grandparents already won this battle against kings and queens. So the only people on earth that can claim true blood of kings and queens, you looking at it. And I'm going to take you around. I'm going to take you around the town where every last one of these monuments was built by a loser to our ancestors So who's the kings? And I'm doing this publicly. So if any of this was not true, if I'm lying about anything,